How's it going? My name is John. This is Cinema Saturday, and today I have a review for Captain America: Brave New World. This movie follows Sam Wilson, who is still trying to accept the role that he has as Captain America. I mean, he is Captain America, but he still needs to feel it deep inside. He gets invited to the White House by President Ross, and during this big event, it seems as if there are some inside agents working against him in the White House. And Sam and the team need to go and find out what's going on. And of course, hijinks ensue. I had pretty good expectations going into this movie. I know Marvel has been on a mid track lately, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine, but I still had hopes. I watched all of Falcon and Winter Soldier when it came out initially, and I just rewatched it all to get ready for this movie. And so after watching that series, I got re-hyped again because I really enjoyed the series. Some prerequisites: you do need to have watched Falcon and Winter Soldier and The Incredible Hulk to really understand everything that's going on into this movie. It's not required homework, but I definitely think it will help you understand the world building that we have going on and the different characters and their paths that were introduced in those stories. So like I said, I had great expectations, or medium expectations going in, but the reviews started coming out and said that this movie was not so great. I try to put those out of my head because I am a strong believer of you don't know how you feel about a movie until you go see it yourself, because what somebody else thinks about a movie is not what is going to be what you think about a movie. But they did kind of put my expectations in check, so I had to manage expectations. So I think you should manage them as well, because this is a good movie, bordering on great, but it's not one of Marvel's greatest. The action in the movie was phenomenal. I loved all the action scenes. We had some good choreography, but I can only say it's good, at least in some parts, when there was just fist fighting and fighting, guys down on the ground level. It did feel like sometimes that the hits were slow, or if not slow, they were a little bit heavy. And so I was like, oh, it's like you guys practice this move and this is the 20th take you're doing it. You're trying to put your all in, but I don't know, it felt a little heavy sometimes. Some of my favorite action sequences in the movie, no spoilers, are the big Indian Ocean fight scene, and of course, the ending fight, which is Sam Wilson, Captain America, versus President Ross, Red Hulk. It was great. It was everything you wanted. It was fantastic. It was awesome. The only caveat I would say to that would be that, there does seem to be an extensive use of CGI, but at least for me, I was so wrapped up in the story that the CGI didn't bother me this time around. We're not looking at Mark Ruffalo in the Hulkbuster suit anymore. We've graduated past that. We've gotten a little bit better. So at least it looks good overall, and it all seems to fit the surroundings. Speaking of the story, I thought it was pretty good here. It's a spy espionage comic book thriller, and that's kind of a not different tone from Marvel, but it hasn't been a tone that we've seen from Marvel in a long time. We always have the big three: aliens, androids, and wizards. And we're in the android part of the MCU, which is like human technology and how that affects what's going on. My favorite aspects of the story are with Isaiah Bradley and what happens with him. I think that's really good. I think we do get some progression on Sam Wilson accepting what it means to be Captain America and really taking on that mantle. So that was good too. We do have a villain in this movie. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I do like his motivations. They seem very realistic and a little bit relatable. Another one of those I see why you're doing it. I just wish you weren't doing it the way you were doing it. I can't agree with your actions, but I can see what drove you to take said actions. I do like President Ross' arc here as well. It does give you a little bit of sympathy towards the character because we know, even though they've changed actors, he's the same, character on paper, and that he was very much so a brute and short-tempered. But I like his arc in this story and what they did with it. I thought that was all well done. And as for finishing up the story, I think it did a good job wrapping up some things, maybe a little bit more loose ends, answered some questions, didn't give us too many questions, because we know that once Marvel give us some questions, it may take them 3 to 4 years to answer said question, if they answered it at all. I'm still waiting on wherever Shang-Chi and friends went at the end of Shang-Chi. Like, they got into Porter and Wong and they went somewhere. But I think the next time we saw Wong was in Multiverse of Madness. So I was like, where's Shang-Chi? But I do think they do a good job wrapping up the story. So we do have a complete story, a good story from beginning to end, with some solid character arcs that builds their characters up and want us wanting more. Of course, Anthony Mackie does a fine job here as Captain America, really showing the nuance of, portraying the shield of America but also protecting the whole world at the same time. I do believe what Anthony Mackie said in his press tour that, Captain America is supposed to be a hero for all and not just a hero for Americans. And he really showed that in this movie. He does a good job. It does a good job. I also like the character that played Falcon. I thought he was good. I think he was a little bit annoying, but I think that's just his character. To me, he was just a little bit annoying, a little bit childish, a little bit too childish. Like, he felt like he was like a teenager and not like a young adult. So it was just a little bit annoying. But you can see through the actor portrayal that he was smart and had a big heart deep down. So kudos to him too. Surprisingly, I liked Harrison Ford in this movie as well. I didn't grow up with Harrison Ford as an actor. I really only know him from like a few movies that I've seen him in. And my biggest movies I've seen him in are Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull and also Ender's Game. I don't really remember Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, but Ender's Game, I felt like he was not right. I don't know. I didn't like his casting. But here, I think he finally is able, maybe with the script, to embrace his age. I felt like maybe before Harrison Ford was always getting older but still trying to act young and act like that his age wasn't affecting him. But here, I think it's really affecting him. Also, he was in the first Star Wars movies, the new trilogy, where I also felt like he was older and still trying to, forget about the fact that he's getting older. But here, I think he embraces his age. It is more palatable. I feel like it's more sincere, more honest. And so I really enjoyed Harrison Ford in this movie. And his story arc here is somewhat relatable as well, as he's a guy trying to become a better person, even though he's had a, let's say, destructive past. I did not like the Black Widow in this movie at all. I think she was miscast. She is of smaller stature, and I don't want to say that, just because she was short and tiny that she couldn't kick ass. But whenever it was time for her to kick ass, I was just like, this is a child. When she was like doing real government official things, I was like, you look like a child. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to think of a way to say it better. Just in stature, she looks small. And that doesn't mean that she couldn't kick ass, but she just didn't look like she was, about that life in lesser words. She didn't. My brain could not wrap. My brain knew that she was a Black Widow, but my eyes could not get over how small she looked compared to everyone else. Because she's not only short, but she's also looked kind of skinny. So I'm like, this is just kind of unrealistic. And I'm sure she can use some of those to her advantage, but to me, it wasn't working. So I didn't like it, unfortunately. I think she did a good job in the acting, but it was just unbelievable for me when the fight scenes came up with her in it. I was like, this is not like the head of your security. It can't be. No way it is. This isn't a spoiler because it's just not in the movie, but I was really kind of hoping to see, some of Sam's family a little bit or hear from them, but because we saw them in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think his sister Sarah really like threw some truth bombs at him, and I think they have a character in here to replace her. I don't think that was Sarah, but they have a character in here to kind of give him, some of what she would say. I was really hoping to see Sarah and family here, but they're not here. So that's a little bit of a disappointment for me. Overall, I had a good time watching Captain America: Brave New World. I think it's a solid film. I think it's a good Marvel Android movie. And I think most people will enjoy this. I can definitely see not everyone enjoying it, but I had a good time. And I think you should go check it out in the theaters. Let's see if you have a good time too, because I think that if you're part of the most people, I think you will. So I give Captain America: Brave New World a 7.5 out of 10. And that's my review of Captain America: Brave New World. My name is John. Thank you for watching Cinema Saturday. And as always, have a good one.